Athaliah, the only woman king in the Bible. Did you know there was one woman in the Bible who ruled as king over Judah? Yes, you heard correctly. Her name was Athaliah, the only woman who ruled as king in Israel's history. In a patriarchal system, a woman took the reins and led the nation. Her story is recorded in 2 Kings chapter 11 and 2 Chronicles chapters 22 and 23. She was a powerful, ruthless woman whose reign nearly extinguished the Davidic line, but whose downfall reminds us of God's sovereign hand in history. Let's explore her background, rise to power, her rule, and her fall. We are in the 9th century BC. The nation of Israel has been divided for about 100 years into the northern kingdom, Israel, the southern kingdom, Judah. During this time, both kingdoms struggled with idolatry and instability. The kings of Israel, especially, were deeply influenced by Baal worship. Judah still had the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem and the covenant promise to David that a descendant of his would always sit on the throne. But Judah too was being pulled into corruption, mainly through political alliances. She was the daughter of Ahab, king of Israel, and Jezebel, a Phoenician princess and a fanatical promoter of Baal worship. Athaliah married Jehoram, king of Judah. Through this marriage, the house of Ahab gained influence in Judah, a dangerous mix of political ambition and idolatry. She bore a son, Ahaziah, who later became king of Judah. So Athaliah was royalty by birth and marriage, a politically savvy woman from a background steeped in power and idol worship. When Athaliah's son Ahaziah was king, he ruled only 1 year before being killed by Jehu, part of God's judgment on Ahab's house. At this point, there was a power vacuum in Judah. Athaliah seized her moment. In a shocking act of ambition, she ordered the massacre of all royal heirs, her own grandchildren, to eliminate any rivals to the throne. She then declared herself king, not merely queen mother, but king in function and authority. This was unprecedented. No woman had ever ruled Judah or Israel as king before. Her actions were a direct threat to the Davidic covenant. Athaliah ruled for 6 years over Judah. During her reign, she aggressively promoted Baal worship, building altars to Baal in Jerusalem, appointing priests, and desecrating the temple of the Lord. The land of Judah, which had been the stronghold of Yahweh worship, was being transformed into a pagan state. Many of the faithful priests and people went into hiding or underground resistance. Meanwhile, Athaliah ruled with an iron fist, secure in her power but unaware that one tiny spark of the Davidic line remained. Unknown to Athaliah, her own stepdaughter Jehosheba, wife of the faithful priest Jehoiada, had secretly rescued one of the royal infants, Joash, son of Ahaziah. They hid Joash in the temple for 6 years. In the 7th year, Jehoiada organized a daring plan. He gathered priests, Levites, and military leaders still loyal to the covenant. In a dramatic moment at the temple, Joash, now 7 years old, was crowned king with great rejoicing. Trumpets sounded, the people shouted, "Long live the king!" This bold public coronation took Athaliah by complete surprise. When Athaliah heard the noise, she rushed to the temple. Seeing the boy king, surrounded by guards and the people's acclaim, she cried out, "Treason! Treason!" But her cries went unheard. Jehoiada commanded the guards to seize her. Athaliah was taken outside the temple and executed at the horse gate. Thus ended the reign of the only woman king of Judah, a usurper whose ambition had nearly destroyed the royal line of David. Athaliah's story leaves us with profound lessons. The dangers of idolatry and political compromise. The destructive power of unchecked ambition. Thanks to the courage of Jehosheba and Jehoiada, the worship of Yahweh was restored, and Judah was saved from ruin. Even in the darkest times, God's purposes will prevail. So there you have it, the remarkable and tragic story of Athaliah, the only woman to rule as king in Israel's history. A figure of ambition, idolatry, and destruction, yet her story ultimately points to the unstoppable faithfulness of God. Thank you for watching. Be so kind to like, share and leave a comment.